Today is March 14th, 2026, Pi Day. I decided I better update the oil pressure issue. It's resolved, and just in case somebody runs into the same problem, it may save you a lot of grief and work for something that really isn't necessary but is very difficult to find. This is, for those of you who haven't viewed the oil pressure video, before I got it resolved, this is what the oil pressure would be when the engine's cold, 26 psi. This is when the engine was warm, 39 psi. They tried to convince me from the airplane factory that that's normal. It's not. I knew that, so I kept at it till we figured out what was exactly wrong with it. And the first thing I tried to do to resolve it was I changed the sleeve and the spring in the oil pressure regulator, and that is that big square cover that's by the oil line. And you can also see these AN oil lines. I've got PTFE fuel and oil lines because I didn't want to screw with the 5-year rubber replacement. That helped. I went from like 32 to 33 up to 36 to 37, but I knew it wasn't where it should be. So the next thing I thought might be wrong was the oil pressure sensor, and to check that, I got information from Dean Vogel at Lockwood Aviation how to hook up a gauge to a manual gauge to compare it. This is the photo of the gauge as I hooked it up. Not real difficult except to get the parts to work and get the connectors and all that kind of stuff was kind of a pain in the butt. But I got it all hooked up, and sure enough, the oil pressure sensor was spot on with the manual gauge, so that was not the problem. So after all that, the one guy that figured it out was Dylan, who's the Rotax guy for the airplane factory in Torrance. He actually thought it might be the oil lines to start with, but I knew I had the PTFE, so I knew there was no crimps or anything like that, so we kind of dismissed that. Well, as it turns out, he found out that when I ordered the PTFE oil lines from Midwest Panel Builders, Midwest Sports, whatever they are, they had supplied an incorrect size for the feed lines from the oil can to the oil cooler, from the oil cooler to the engine. They supplied AN8. They should have been AN10, excuse me. And once David came out, picked up the plane, took it back to Torrance, they replaced those two oil lines, one from the can to the cooler and the cooler to the engine. That resolved the problem. And I don't know how anybody would have figured it out except Dylan did it, and it was really a nice resolution and inspired more confidence in the plane. And so here is a picture of the oil pressure now at 162 oil temperature, and shows 59 psi, which is between 50 and 60 is where it should be. In this nonsense of trying to make me believe that between 30 and 40 was normal and okay. I mean, it's okay, but it's not normal. It just didn't fly. So if you have that problem, check your oil lines, make sure they're the right size, and especially if you use the PTFE with the AN fittings, this should resolve your problem. So, signing off. See you. Bye.